It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we take a health turn, being a Tuesday morning, and we are focusing on cancer today. And according to the World Health Organization, cancer is expected to become the leading cause of death on the African continent by 2030. And there are various reasons for that. The leading cause of death on our continent by 2030. Now, this is an alarming prediction that has necessitated a conversation around the importance of cancer screening as our first stop, as well as looking at the latest stats and developments in the fight against cancer, because, boy, we are getting some weapons in this battle. Yeah. One of those weapons happens to be Dorothy Duploy and the incredible organization she represents today, Cancer, and she's the service specialist there. Dorothy, we love you. Thank you so much for being back on the couch.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation.
Absolute
how are you
pleasure.
doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
Very good to have you. I've got to make sure. Listen, let's get straight into it. We spoke about, obviously, screening, but also about identifying and looking at the stats right now. Now, what could I maybe ask you in terms of, let's say, the top 5 cancers that we are experiencing in South Africa? What are those, and has that sort of changed? Is there like maybe a new trend coming through?
Because it tells a story, yeah.
New types of cancers developing in our country or not? Has that been anything that you've witnessed or noticed?
The top 5 cancers in males is your prostate cancer, number 1. And then you've got your colorectal,
All right.
lung cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and melanoma.
Okay.
All right.
In females, it is your breast, number 1 still, cervix, colorectal, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is both males and females.
Okay.
What we did, and that is your 2019 stats, according to the Cancer Registry. What we did say in the 2020 stats of the Cancer Registry is there seemed to be a movement for basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma, which is your skin cancer, upward movement.
Okay.
And if we look at what is currently happening in the world with the heat waves
For sure.
and global warming,
In general, yeah.
we dread to think what the 2024, 2025 stats is going to look like.
Interesting.
So what is happening outside in the environment, etc., definitely impacts on the scenario around what cancers is becoming more relevant, etc.
Oh, lovely, Dorothy. Thank you.
And it's terrifying in that sense, but we know now. We know, we've got the data, and I think that has been a massive step forward, but it's also highlighted the gap between those that have the information technologies, those that have the resources, and those that don't. When we look at Africa's journey, this cancer becoming the biggest killer on our continent by 2030, is that because of a lack of resources? Or is that because of the prevalence of cancer? How far behind are we, certainly from South Africa's perspective, than the tip of the spear, so to speak?
You know, when we look at the global trends at your third world countries and versus your first world countries, obviously access to care is a big thing.
Massive, yeah.
And so what we've done as an organization is we've joined a Cancer Alliance. Because you realize you have to lobby and advocate for their strength in numbers.
Yeah.
And so it's holding those that hold the purse strings responsible to put the money where the mouth is, fixing the machines, quicker access to treatment, allowing everyone to have access to treatment.
And continued access.
Yes, and not have your 4th stage cancers, so we're not going to prioritize you. And the waiting times are still too long. And the breaking of machines in hospitals is a big thing. So there's a lot of push from the Cancer Alliance and other organizations to hold decision makers accountable to ensure that we're closing the gap.
Get that infrastructure there. And as much as you say these things, people are rolling their eyes thinking, no ways, no ways. But yes, this is what's happening. A person will get priority. When you are dealing with 2 difficult choices, often a cancer, you will make those choices, and someone who is suffering from an advanced stage cancer will be set aside as a lost cause, which is terrifying as a notion if you're entering into this journey yourself, to think that that's where the mindset of the entire body is. There is power in data, and by collectively getting together, you are proving that. I absolutely love it. What advancements have we seen? Has it changed? Post-COVID, we've seen a lot more connection, we've seen a lot more data sharing, and massive steps forward. Is cancer getting the attention it needs now that COVID is behind us?
I think it's not, it's getting the attention now, because if you look at the World Health Organization and the move globally to have eradication of cervical cancer, that's a global
And we can do it.
And, you know, it's highly preventable.
We can do it.
Cervical cancer is highly preventable if the screening is there, if the access to treatment early enough is there, and the will of the patient to go because
bravery,
that
yeah.
and so there's really a movement towards pushing for access to treatment for cancer patients, pain control, quality of life, etc. So there's a collective.
You said it, there's a movement.
Yeah,
And
I
this
love
is it. This transcends an organization. All due respect to the amazing organizations doing the work, we need more. We need a collective, a movement pushing in the right direction. I know this conversation is terrifying. It is also inspiring, but what it does do is kicks in that hero gene, whether you're working on this side of the equation or you yourself are going through cancer right now. There are resources within yourself that you can tap into, and we're going to continue this conversation. But please, if you have any insights and questions, please weigh in 0634088863. We are talking about cancer today, as it is today on the show. And now, of course, we get those inspirational stories coming through as well of people who have gone through that fight.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yes, I'm Zanzi here. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. What a show it's been already. It's Tuesday, your Health Tuesday, and we're serving you, talking about everything involving cancer. And we have a conversation with cancer service specialist Dorothy Duploy that we're carrying on with right now, learning about how to lower our risks when it comes to cancer. So before we even get into it, let's take a look at women and what they can do when it comes to breast cancer, self-examinations, and possibly doing it all in the comfort of your own home. Check this out.
Self-examination, follow these 3 steps. Check for any visible breast changes with your arms at your sides, overhead, firmly pressing your hands on your hips and bending forward. With a pillow under your shoulder, make small circles by pressing down on the collarbone, moving clockwise towards the nipple. With your arms raised, check your breasts with a soapy hand and fingers, using the same technique as lying down. Repeat these steps on both sides.
And do it today. And do it right now if you can. It feels like so much of this. We try to complicate it. We try to make it this big, terrible thing. Prevention is there for so many forms of cancer. It's more about just getting people to go for that check. How much of a difference does it make, early detection? Because that's in our hands. That's something we can, every one of us, go and do right now. How much of a difference would it make if we could just get uptake there?
Early detection saves lives.
Boom.
And early detection starts with you, to know your body, to know that something's going wrong. Going for your annual checkups, doing your breast self-examination. 9 out of 10 lumps has been discovered by women themselves.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 lumps
90% of cancers are self...
during breast self-examination.
Wow.
And the good news is 9 out of 10 lumps is not cancerous. So if you find a lump, you need to have it go checked out. Go for your pap smear, your annual pap smears. Because that is where you will detect cervical cancer. And breast cancer is the highest incidence, but cervical cancer has the most deaths. And it's highly preventable. There's a HPV vaccine that's available. It's been given to the girl child at the age of 9 to 12 in schools. And that ensures that they will be covered against cervical cancer as they get older. But there's also for the older women, there is the HPV vaccine. And then, of course, you know, prostate cancer, know your family history, know that somebody in the family has had prostate cancer, go and have your blood test. Men don't like the digital rectal examination. It's just as a discomfort as a pap smear.
It's a moment in time. It's a moment in time.
It's a moment in time, and be aware of if doctor tells you that what you think you're feeling is nothing. You have a backache, bone pain, and you get treated and it's not getting better. Go back and ask for a second opinion, and really take charge of your life and take charge of your health.
Because no one can stand against you in that particular fight. No one can.
No.
It's all up to you.
Yeah, it is. Listen, we're speaking about so many different cancers coming through, and this is something that I love, that we can also serve at the same time. Now, an interesting stats come through with patients aged between the ages of 40 and 80 years old, and it's becoming quite pertinent. It's called multiple myeloma. Now, what exactly is this type of cancer? Why is it becoming so much more prevalent in this age groups? And is there any sort of screening that you can do for this, or any sort of prevention before it does get any worse?
Multiple myeloma is really a cancer of the white, the white plasma cells, which is your white blood cells.
Your defense system,
And
right?
yes, and you can think if the soldiers in your body has been impacted by cancer, causes you to not have the ability to fight, and it gathers in the bone marrow. And the age group 40 to 80, the perception was always that you're 65 years and older, get it, and suddenly there's been a shift and it's younger. And so there's misdiagnosis because a younger person going to the doctor complaining of a bone pain, backache, pain in the ribs, fatigue, etc. There could be lots of other reasons. So they get treated for arthritis and for fibrositis, etc. And when there's no improvement and they are then sent for the further testing, etc., then it's already there. But so multiple myeloma is really on the radar. It's not the top 5. It's not in the top 5, but it really is something that needs to be looked at.
Okay.
Cancer Association in KwaZulu-Natal has formed a partnership with the King Edward Hospital in KwaZulu-Natal, and they wanted to focus on multiple myeloma. And so the Bristol Squibb Foundation came on board, and so between the 3 organizations, they looked at multiple myeloma in KZN and the need for support for the multiple myeloma patient. And because many times the multiple myeloma patient also can get stem cell transplants, and that's where donor needs to come in. We also have a care home in Cape Town, like the one in Durban, where we accommodate the multiple myeloma patient coming into the city for their treatment, etc. And we currently have a 12-year-old donor. Really? And it's a family member of the multiple myeloma patient that is the stem cell is the donor.
Wow. Oh,
so
love
that family needs to be held together, to be supported,
and looked after,
emotional support, etc.
Because lest we forget, we are talking about numbers, and I'm all about the data, and I get that. It's people, it's individuals living what must feel like a very singular experience, but they're not alone. I think the infrastructure that you're building around this movement is really practical now, which speaks volumes to how far we have come. So it's not a hopeless space by any stretch of the imagination. If anything, there is more hope now than there ever has been before. And that's largely due to the unwavering efforts of yourself and the people working in your space. There is a huge emotional connection there as well. So thank you, Dorothy. We absolutely love you. I think the bottom line is just go and get checked, get screened, get checked, do your own checks. There is an opportunity for you to take responsibility for your life in the most powerful way, but it's all on you.